I'm just a sexy boy. Sexy boy. Shouts out Big Rick, dude. I've had that stuck in my head all day. Jesse Rowe, we're back.
That's
It's
right.
playoffs.
It is the playoffs, and it's
I'm
been
still
2 weeks. It's
repping
been
these
too long.
Dodgers, and you know what? It was a weekend of highs and lows, brother. Some dirty, nasty lows. Some bad looks from a couple of fan bases, probably none worse than my Los Angeles Dodgers. But before we get into that, Jesse, bonsoir.
Bonsoir,
Welcome
monsieur.
back to the United States of America.
Merci.
How was Europe?
Europe was wonderful. I apologize to our fans out there who are wondering where we've been the past few weeks. I did take a little bit of a European vacation with my wife. It was very nice. We went to France. We went to Vienna, Austria. We went to Hungary for a day. We took a little day trip to Hungary.
Lovely.
Which was interesting. And just a lovely getaway. Wine tasting in castles.
Wow.
But the whole time I'm watching, there are these important baseball games, Branden. Very important baseball games. The Dodgers and the Padres, like deciding games for who's going to win the division. And it's happening at like 3 a.m. in France. So I couldn't watch any of it, dude. Like I was so tired. There was no way I was going to be. We had so much to do the next day. Every day we were doing so much that if I was watching games, I would have been done. You know what I mean? So, no amount of espressos and cafes could keep me awake if that was the case. But so I missed out on some baseball, but I did check out highlights and saw the Dodgers, beating the Padres and winning the division and all that. But I got to admit, I needed that break to not care about baseball a little bit, knowing what was coming around the corner this week with the Dodgers and Padres series. So I got a little break by just going to Europe and shutting my mind off. And now here we are. I'm refreshed. I'm ready to go. And I'm absolutely stressed out and terrified. How you doing, Branden?
Oh, my God. I mean, well, it sounds wonderful. I hope you had a couple of croissants for me.
I did. Too much bread. Too much bread over there, dude. It's just nothing but bread and cheese in France. Bread, cheese, coffee, and champagne and wine.
Let me shed a tear for you, brother. I'm really fucking feeling it for you. I was out in your neck of the woods, dude, in the goddamn San Fernando Valley, baking like a toasted cheeser the last couple weeks.
Yeah.
But it's all good. We're doing it for the kids. It's all good.
Are you a goat cheese guy, by the way? They put goat cheese on everything out there. And
I've had goat cheese before, and I think I've enjoyed it in the right settings, but I also believe I've maybe not enjoyed it as well.
I find it inedible. I don't know. I'm just not into it at all. There's something weird about it.
I think I've had it like in a salad, like a goat cheese and like a walnut, like a... I don't know.
Yeah, right.
It's a fancy.
Yeah,
it's fancy.
It needs to be sort of hidden a little bit, like where it's not the prevalent cheese. You know what I mean? Like, but the way that they do it in France, it's like it's very prevalent on the food. It's like, no, this is too much. You're overwhelming me with the goat cheese.
Yeah, so. I'm a pretty blue collar cheese guy.
Yeah,
I like my
American,
cheddars,
Swiss.
American on my burgers. Swiss if I'm feeling fancy, provolone if I'm trying to impress a date.
Of course.
Fresh mozzarella for my Italian brethren and chetherins.
Some ricotta.
Whoa, I fucking love ricotta cheese.
Yeah, dude.
But I also like a little Mexican queso. What's that, dude? I don't know, brother. A little Oaxacan cheese.
The only stinky cheese I like comes from American fastballs, Branden. You know what I'm talking about? A good old-fashioned American four-seamer.
There's a strike zone right there, brother.
Yeah,
Square
dude.
it up.
Yeah.
It's a rectangle.
So,
you can do it.
Yeah. Here we are. We are in the playoffs. We are here. It is all 4 series are going on. As of right now, the Yankees are up. The Royals are up 4-1 on the Yankees. So if that holds, every single series will be 1-1. The Yankees Royals is the only series that is not intra-divisional. Been good playoffs so far. I mean, every single series. The wild card round was was fun. I guess we could briefly just touch on that. What was your most interesting storyline from the wild card round? Any surprises on your end?
Obviously, there's a couple, but I do want to just bring one thing that was actually brought to my attention by a couple of viewers. And sorry, I forgot to bring this up before our little rundown before we started this. But what is your thoughts, dude, about celebrating champagne popping at the end of the season? For example, I'll point to the Milwaukee Brewers. Had an amazing season. They win the division. Pop champagne. They got a little baby bottles for Jurix and Profar, or excuse me, Jackson Churio. Profar's living in my head. He's rent free.
Yeah, I know. Seriously,
So much for irrelevant, dude.
I know.
The bad man, dude. The bad man. But so my point is, like, I've had a couple of people go like, dude, this is stupid. Like, why are you popping champagne? Why is it all whatever? And then even the Dodgers demure champagne toast was like, okay, that's acceptable. But like Kobe Bryant once said, what's there to be happy about? Job's not finished. Jeffy, I'll take my answer off the air.
I mean, I think for like I do think it's a little out of hand that especially now that there's like, what is it? Like 7 teams that make the playoffs. What is it now? You know, where each league has like half of the
something like that. It's like
12. Half of the league makes the playoffs.
Literally.
Now. Every single one of them gets a champagne celebration. Like, I think it should be reserved for division winners. I'll put it there. If you win your division, you get the beers, you get the champagne. You won your division, right? I would even go as far as to say if you earn the bye week, you get it. But I don't know, like squeaking in, being like an 88-win team, barely squeaking in, and you get a champagne. Give me a fucking break.
Do you think they need to limit the champagne's accessibility in baseball? Do they think there's an alcohol problem in baseball, dude?
Yeah, there is. I think that MLB should say, hey, if you didn't win your division, you don't get a champagne shower. I'm sorry.
I like that.
It's also, those guys, you know who has to clean up? Is the low man, the common man, the average, ordinary, everyday man, the janitors and the cleanup people. They have to clean up after this shit. It's like, come on, guys. Like, the Tigers who barely squeaked in, they get a champagne. Here's the thing, though. They probably don't win the World Series, so it's like maybe this is their one moment. It's a little out of hand.
I was arguing for it with a little bit of vigor, just saying, like, you know, Shohei, for example, been in the big 7 years. This was his first trip to the postseason, so I get popping a little bubbly. Some other guys may never be there again, you know. So I appreciate celebrating the steps, but it does feel a little silly when you go play a 2-game wild card series, get swept, and your season's over. But a couple nights ago, you were just partying, you know. No disrespect. Right. But, like, I can appreciate celebrating after the wild card round, like, hey, we just won this, like, you know, elimination tournament, and now we're going to the next one, whatever. You get what I'm saying, but...
Truthfully, I'm just bitter about the fact that when the Dodgers won the World Series, they had a private toast amongst the teammates with, like, some beers. They didn't get their big party because of COVID and all that shit. They didn't get there. So I'm, like, a little bitter. I'm not going to lie. It makes me a little annoyed when I see, like, the Tigers celebrating like that. Like, you didn't win your division, you're getting a champagne shower, you know? That's a little obnoxious. Like, imagine if in the NBA, every team that makes the playoffs gets a champagne shower.
That's what I'm saying.
On, give me a fucking break. So whatever. But I'm not that passionate about it one way or the other. I'm only saying it because you brought it up. But let's move on here.
Last thing I'll say about it is I've been at like a bar and like heard like a woman, like this is like I was in Hermosa Beach like probably like 6 years ago or something like that. And I think the Dodgers had clinched the division. I could like hear some woman like out loud sitting at the bar by herself, like, really? Come on. Like, act like you've been there before. Like, have some class. Come on, guys. And in my head, I'm like, this lady's like, I don't think she gets it. But maybe she was onto something. Maybe she was onto it.
It is a little bit like boomer to get upset about it. Like, maybe I sound a little bit like a boomer. But I don't know. I just think that, like, winning a division means... it needs to mean something.
It used to mean something, you boomer.
Yeah, no, but it needs to mean something, and now it kind of feels like it doesn't anymore. And part of that feels like the expanded wild card and stuff. Winning the division just doesn't matter as much. And like, look at what's happening. Like every series is 1-1, and it's like it just feels like it's harder to win than ever before because of it. So it's like, hey, save those postseason showers for the division winners and the champions. That's what I would say. So
You heard it here first. Deferred collusion.
Cleveland and the Tigers will kick off there. They are 1-1. Earlier today, the Tigers evened it up. Low-scoring affair until the ninth inning where Kerry Carpenter hit a 3-run homer off of Emmanuel Clase. But I'm not going to bury the lead. Tariq Skubal, the likely Cy Young winner of the American League, was unbelievable, Brandon. Like, so good, so efficient, just beautiful to watch. He never looked... He made it look easy. It reminded me of Pete Kershaw stuff. He just made it look easy. And, that Tigers team was like dead in the water. Yeah. All Cleveland had to do was score a couple runs because Tigers could not do anything for, 17 and a third innings or whatever it was, because they scored 0 in game 1, and then they had 0 up until the ninth inning of game 2, and then they hit the 3-run homer. So they were like dead in the water, basically, in this series. And Tariq Skubal gave them a chance, and Kerry Carpenter got the 3-run homer off of the best reliever in baseball, and like one of the best relievers ever, if you look at statistically, in Emmanuel Clase. So do you feel like Detroit has a real shot at winning this series, or do you feel like Cleveland still has the upper hand?
Cleveland still got J-Ram. They still got that nasty lineup in the pen, is what I mean. Just that they can just throw these guys at you, dude. Just fucking nasty stuff, one after the other.
Arm factory.
Yeah,
they have an arm factory over there.
That's like where it seems like that's like a nightmare scenario for most teams. That's what the Guardians want, and like they've been great all year. And like I know we really didn't talk about them much, but you can see them in all these counting stats. They're all at the top of the league. They run well. They play D well. Their starting pitching is incredible, and they've done it all year, pole to pole. And to lose one at home is always a kick in the teeth because now there's a lot of anxiety, whatever. We'll see how that plays into effect because, like a guy like Emmanuel Clase has been nails all year. And it almost feels like these guys have been such, like, guys like Emmanuel have been so locked down all year just to, have it all fall apart in October. It almost feels like that's the script. Hello. But, my man in Milwaukee, Jeffries, tipping pitches, giving up that fucking dinger to Pete in that elimination game, the wild card. I mean, dude, I remember I was texting you, and you were like, "Holy shit, man, bone swap."
Yeah. Right.
But yeah, it almost feels like it's like I don't know, like the lights get bright, and it's almost like the lights bring out those like fears from your subconscious, right? It's pretty incredible to watch. Some guys are just thriving in it, we'll touch on other series. Sorry, I was about to segue.
No, you're good.
But seeing a guy like Skubal just like cement his Cy Young case this year.
Yeah.
Because, we were talking NL Rookie of the Year earlier, Skeens, Merrill. Merrill's the youngest kid now to hit a home run in Padres history on top of his insane year. Sorry, I think that adds a little more credence. He's my pick for NL Rookie of the Year. I know that's a segue, but you get my point. I think when the lights are bright and you continue to just shove, Skubal is just incredible. I mean, he's making it look easy out there against an insane team, dude.
I mean, the Cleveland's lineup, obviously, out of all of the division winners, I would say Cleveland's lineup was probably like the weakest. Maybe Milwaukee Cleveland and Milwaukee are sort of similar in that regard, where they're not like, they weren't teams that were going to blow you away like offensively, but Cleveland is just one of those teams that, because I think their offense, we did a little piece on them the last episode, where they weren't like blowing you away in any statistical category. Like offensively, they were like kind of right in the middle, but
Yeah.
they made contact, they don't chase, they steal bases, play great defense, and they pitch really well. And they win like tons of close games. So like to your point about how like the tensity of the bright lights and how like just you start getting those negative thoughts in your head. That applies to a team like Cleveland that should beat the Tigers, but because all season long they were in these 0-0 games, right? Where they were winning them. They would win a lot of like 2-1 games. But when you're in the postseason, everything is so much more magnified, where you're like, this is when you kind of need to have like more boppers, more bats, because you need to have some like blowout wins where you don't feel that doubt creeping in. You need some like 5-0 wins, which they got in game 1. They got a 7-0 winning. I think it was 7-0 in game 1. But then you go 0-0 in game 2, and it's like you can't score a single run. And it's like, if that, the doubt's going to start to creep in, and then all of a sudden you're going 1-1 back to Detroit against a team that probably shouldn't be there. And it's all of a sudden doubt creeping. Oh my God, are we the team this year that's going to choke against the Tigers?
Yeah.
Then that starts
The 80-something win
in.
team. Yeah.
Yeah. Like the Dodgers against the Diamondbacks last year. It's like it just starts, the doubt starts to creep in. So now, if I were to be honest with you, I still think that if I'm certain about one series remaining right now of the 4, I'm certain that Cleveland will pull it out and win. I actually think Cleveland's going to be the representative in the World Series this year. And a lot of that is because of my feeling about the Yankees, and we will get into that because I think Cleveland will beat the Royals if the Royals advance, and I think that Cleveland will be able to hold the Yankees bats down enough, because I think they'll just pitch around Judge and Soto, and then the Yankees will have fucking nothing. That's what I think will happen. But we'll get to that. Anything you want to say about them before we move on about Cleveland or Detroit?
I disagree, and that I think Detroit's going to take this hot hand. They're going to get into Detroit. I think it's going to be a fucking madhouse. And I think that Detroit's going to take. I think it's going to go 5, but I think they're going to take it, dude. But I just think Skubal's going to get another shot to pitch, and that's going to be the difference.
If he does, it'll be like on short rest, and he might not be able to go 7 because it'll be what would it be? So today was game 2, so it'll be 1 day off, and then 2 games in Detroit, and then another day off.
Check it out. AJ Hinch.
That would be 4 days rest.
Check it out. AJ Hinch is the type of guy that likes to be a little outside the box. He's the kind of guy that maybe throws an opener. Then maybe, you get Skubal in for fucking 5 innings, 4 innings.
Yeah.
All of a sudden you're in the 6th, 5th inning. You can get your way to the pen. You get a lead, something like that. And or you bring him in a little later. Maybe bring him in the 3rd, and you just see if he can get to the 9th. Fuck it.
And I'm doing the math right now. I think actually Skubal would be on full 4-game rest if they did do that. So
there's a storyline to watch, Papas.
If they get to a game 5, that's terrifying for Cleveland.
Cats in 5. So you're saying,
all right, I like it.
So you're saying Cleveland's got to get it done in 4.
That's actually interesting. I do think they have to. I think that because it'll be Bybee in game 5 most likely. What's weird about what Cleveland is doing is that in both games so far, Bybee and Matthew Boyd, who went today, they were actually very efficient, scoreless outings into the 5th inning. They were both pulled with 2 outs in the 5th inning. Very strange that Cleveland is doing that. So they've already kind of exhausted their pen in these first 2 games. just something to watch. What the way that Cleveland is and Stephen Vogt is managing the starting rotation, because Bybee's been great all year. I thought that they should have kept him in a little bit longer. Not that it mattered. It was a 7-run game or whatever it was, or like 5-run game, so they were probably like, all right, let's save him. But in a 0-0 game, when Boyd is like awesome, that's a little weird to me.
I wonder if they are lining up for that potential game 5 just in case,
That's what it is.
Sure,
most likely.
yeah, just kind of limiting how much batters are seeing certain guys, or where
Right,
pitchers are
don't give
throwing
them
in the
2
order.
times through the order.
Exactly.
Don't give them 3 times through the order, sort of thing.
Or
Yeah,
even
gotcha.
just where they're placing certain relievers. I would need to go check the box, but I wonder if there's a little bit of that, like, macro view, like, of the chessboard, if you will. Like, oh, we're making these moves, and we'll see how their pieces fall. Anyways.
Well, let's move on to the most intriguing series so far. I don't think it's like the best series, but it's most intriguing. It's Phillies-Mets.
Woo!
Mets are a team, obviously nobody was expecting this year. Steve Cohen said that they were focusing on 25 and 26 when they traded away Verlander and Scherzer, and they were kind of like, no, we're not focusing on this year. And here we are. Now they're in the NLDS. They're 1-1 with the Phillies, and they had a chance to go up 2-0 in Philly. And it didn't go their way, but they still fought hard. They played a great game. They had a 3-0 lead in this game. Bryce Harper. Oh, the Phillies bats were anemic. They were MIA. Nobody knew where they were. Bryce Harper hits a 2-run homer, led to a Castellanos solo homer.
That started the game on the bench.
Yeah, Bohm was on the bench. He was getting booed when he came up in a pinch hit situation later in the game. He popped out on the first pitch, and then he got booed by the Philly fans because he's like 2 for his last 43 or something like that. And but Harper hits the 2-run homer. He woke up the stadium. He woke up the team. Then Castellanos homers, and then the Philly goes up. What was it? Was it 5-3 in the eighth? It was 6-4, 5-3 or something like that.
Yeah, and then they had a 2-run bomb or whatever.
And then the Mets tie it. Vientos, I think it was, who hit the 2-run homer.
Left center.
And unbelievable. I watched that live. That was just... I was watching, my jaw dropped, Brandon. I just couldn't fucking believe
But they did it
my God.
again. Dude, I was watching that
Yeah.
Alonso fucking at bat in the wild card live, and me and my wife were just going, no fucking way, dude. It was like...
That was awesome.
I mean, because, you had the play before, or in the inning before, where Pete drops that foul ball, and there's
Which, by the
fan
way,
push into the net, which
the
I
fan
think he
pushed
did.
the net.
I think
that was
a
not
little
on
bit
Pete.
of assholeness, and I don't know what it
Yeah.
is, man. Fans getting a little ahead of themselves this postseason. Stop what you're doing, but we'll get to that a little bit later. Fuck.
But Pete was taking some shit from Mets fans there.
Yeah.
That was not Pete's fault. That fan clearly interfered with the ball, pushing the net forward. That was obvious to me on replay, but nobody was really talking about it all that much. They were just obviously because Pete also made up for it with the biggest hit of his career, which was unbelievable.
The
moment,
biggest
obviously.
hit for the Mets since Daniel Murphy in
2015.
You know what I mean? Like, to be honest, and Daniel
is.
Murphy, you could just pick. I
Yeah.
mean, he didn't miss that postseason. He was Randy Arozarena before Randy was Randy,
So I got to ask you, though, because the Mets had a lead in this game. They had a 3-0 lead. And then they came back and tied it when they gave up the lead. Did the Mets blow their chance in this series? Now, obviously, they're in a good situation. It's 1-1. But did they blow their chance to really pull off the upset here?
Short answer, no. I don't think they blew it, but I think that just like we were talking about Cleveland needing to end it in 4, I think New York, it best fit them to try and get it, as a sweep or in 4 as quick as possible. You just don't want that Phillies lineup to see your pitching too much. They're too good. They're going to wake up. There's no way around it. But then again, these miracle Mets, they find a way they just hang around. And it seems like there's a playoff team every year that just kind of hangs around and hangs around. The next thing you know, you're in a late inning and a big hit, a walk and a blast, and it's like, holy shit, we're losing this game, and it's what you need. And it's been incredible seeing some of this drama unfold in real time. But
Yeah.
I think that if I don't know. I want to say that the Mets just need to get it back to Philly, and they can. I think it's balls in their court. I think all the pressure is back on the fighting Phils. Like it's almost like with the Dodgers, like, oh fuck, is it going to be another early exit? Their fans are getting a little impatient, a little restless. This core has been together for a few years and has underperformed because, simply put, nobody gives a fuck unless you win the World Series. It's funny.
Yeah.
You would think in the comment section of any baseball page that everybody who's commenting's team just won the World Series the last 3 years in a row. You know what I mean? It's, oh, your team fucking
Right.
It's like,
Well, that's why they comment though, is because the Dodgers, they spend all this money and then their team doesn't, and so they're like, okay, well, I'm going to take my hatred out on you because if you don't win, I'm going to make you hear about it. Which I guess I could understand if I was like a Pirates fan or something like that, but not as a Mets fan. By the way, the Mets have like the biggest payroll in baseball this year. A lot of people seem to forget that.
$325 million this year.
Yeah.
Dodgers are like fourth or fifth in payroll. The Padres have a higher payroll
even
than
then,
the Dodgers. Or no, they not this year. Last year they did.
No. Yeah, the Yankees do though. But even then, you look at it, there's still a major like talent gap here with the Mets and the Phillies, especially on the pitching side of things with Wheeler and Nola. Wheeler's amazing, dude. He is amazing. He's one of like the best postseason pitchers we've seen in a long time. He was so good in Game 1, and then obviously the Phillies just unraveled.
Did you see
whatever
his comments?
happened in that game?
Did you see Wheeler's comments before his start the other day, talking about his time with the Mets and in that 2015 run, how he was dealing with injury?
Yes.
And how they didn't give him seats, and they were like, yeah, if you're gonna go, you need to buy your own tickets to the playoffs.
Yeah. I saw that.
So I saw a bunch of people kind of going like, oh, like fuck him, like we're like it's not even the same owners anymore, dude. Like get over it. And it's funny because I wonder how many people go to a restaurant, have a bad experience, and never go back. They'll see a sign that says under new management, but it's like, nah, I don't give a fuck. I'm soured on it. So Jesse,
right. Once you see a B on that wall, once you see a B on that window, like a B grade, it's like even if it was just like one bad week, the restaurant hand that they got caught off, they can be an A grade the rest of their existence. You're always going to remember when they got that B.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
And even if you get a little tummy ache, it might not have even been their fault, but you start thinking, man, I just ate at that B spot. So it's kind of unfair. But my point, Jesse, is. I wanted to ask you, do you think that's a genuine gripe for Wheeler, or do you think he needs to let it go?
Be like Elsa, let it go. You're on the Phillies now. You won the division. Let it, I think that might have been a little bit of like Wheeler looking for some like added motivation, little Michael Jordan stuff where you're like, hey, I'm looking for some motivation on my opponent here.
I took
something
that personal.
Something to get angry about going in, and it worked. He was like flawless in that start. It didn't work for the Phillies bullpen, which just unraveled in that game. But I to get back to the question here about did the Mets blow their chance, I kind of think they did a little bit, and I feel that way for a couple of reasons. I think that if they win Game 3, I'll totally change my tune on this. But I think Philly has to feel pretty good about where they're at because they played terrible baseball in the first two games, and they still somehow came out with a split, and their offense really woke up in like the last 4 innings where like they scored 6 runs in the last 4 innings. So I think they're like, oh, we have some momentum here now. Like now we've got something going. Like our bats are going here. Like Trey Turner was anemic. Harper wasn't, or Harper obviously was good, but like Alec Bohm was getting benched. Castellanos took him a minute to wake up. I think they're feeling pretty good about where their bats are at now because they wasn't looking good at first. I feel like Philly feels like they got away with a game there where they could have easily lost against a team that's like team of destiny, the Mets. Everybody's talking about the amazing Mets. They overcame some pretty bad baseball, which is, I think, a good place to be in the postseason, especially for a very good team. So they're going to go into New York, and I have a feeling they might just like their bats might just start rolling here, and that's where I'm a little concerned for the Mets, because I think you need to go up 2-0 against the Phillies, because I think that like they can just when there's a talent gap like that, they're gonna win a game like 11-1 in this series. I promise you, the Phillies are gonna win a game like they're gonna blow them out. The Mets, I don't see them really being able to do that. You know, it's like, yeah, they won 6-2 or whatever it was in game 1, but that was like off a bunch of singles and like sacrifice flies. Like the Phillies could hit like 5 homers in a game. The Mets, unlikely. So
I don't know, man. I think you are being a little disrespectful to the baseball god of playoffs.
Yeah.
Because, and I got a little stat for later, but, it's butter knifing. Lot of unexpected homers in the postseason. You know what I mean? Some guys have been raking. You're telling me a guy like Jesse Winker, Alonso, and Lindor get behind a couple, and then boom, all of a sudden it's 4-0. I can see that happening. But to your point, I agree that there is a big gap in talent. But it's also about who shows up and getting hot at the right time. And the Mets have an opportunity to get real, real hot right now, getting home in front of their faithful. But it's been so exciting so far. Like,
It's been amazing.
I expected us to be Philly 2-0 going into New York. I really did. I thought their feet would be to the fire, and I thought that the Mets would have to win out, which is possible. But I think, winning 3 straight against the Phillies is going to be really tough. But yeah, it's been fun. I'm digging it.
Agreed. Hey, so we're actually, sorry, we've been talking a while on these. We're going to have to speed through the Royals Yankees a little bit here so we can get to Dodgers Padres, because we've been talking for 32 minutes.
Give me the notes.
But yeah, so Yankees Royals, it's right now it's looking like it's going to be a 1-1 series. Royals are up 4-1 here in the 9th. Against the Yankees. So the Yankees are going to need to score. If this changes, we apologize, but it's looking like it's going to be a 1-1 series. Royals could have easily won game 1. Yankees got a little lucky with a caught stealing call that should have been called on Jazz Chisholm, I think, where the call could have been overturned, which led to some runs for the Yankees. Garrett Cole did not look great. 5 innings, I think it was 3 runs or 4 runs, 3 runs maybe. He wasn't amazing. Carlos Rodon wasn't amazing today against the Royals. So that's against the Royals. That it's pretty tough. Cole Reagans looked great today. By the way, looked awesome, really good.
Mr. Cole.
So, how are you feeling about this? Judge and Witt haven't been great this series. I think the big storyline here is Yankees pitching, and Judge has not hit the ball yet. That's a big storyline for me. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, man, it's tough when you're not getting the boppers bopping, and you're not getting your horses, I should say, with Cole and Rodon, really firing on all cylinders, setting the tone and whatnot. It's funny because it really feels like Yankees and Dodgers are kind of parallel teams right now. Really in desperate need of that anchor at the start of a rotation, just to come out and shove for 7. But yeah,
bro, what I wouldn't give for Garrett Cole right now, Brandon, even if you know what I mean, what I wouldn't give for that for the Dodgers, Yamamoto's just clearly not fully healthy. Whereas Cole has had 12 starts to get healthy here.
Yeah,
he didn't look good.
Totally.
So,
totally.
I agree. I agree with what you're saying. I hear you.
I'm just saying they feel like a little bit of glass cannons right now. They can fucking hurt you, but they're not invulnerable. So that said, Witt has struggled for Kansas City. I don't know if he has a hit today or not, but I don't think he had a hit in game 1. It's who gets hot first, and who's more important to whose lineup. Can the Royals outslug the Yankees without Judge and Soto mashing?
Bro, here's the thing though. The Royals, they have Salvi Perez, Bobby Witt, they have Melendez. This is a good team, and I'm just looking at them compared to Yankees are obviously the better team, but I'm not seeing them as like. I'm not seeing the Yankees as world beaters in any way, like I would the Dodgers. If the Dodgers' offense is clicking, they can beat everybody. But I can't say the same thing about the Yankees. You know what I mean? And I just like if you were to watch the Yankees right now, if they were to play Cleveland, and if they were to advance, and then it's Yankees Cleveland, how sure are you that the Yankees would get through Cleveland?
You know what's dangerous, and we're not even talking about this. I've really been championing this all fucking season. The Patrick Mahomes effect, dude.
Yeah, dude.
We are in football season. I've been calling Kansas City the champions town. I think the Chiefs are 4-0 right now. You're telling me that ain't lining up with a little bit of a Kansas City Royals hot streak? I don't know, dude. It feels like it's in the script. It's in the stars. I'm feeling like the Royals might be knocking off the Yankees, dude. Or at least they have a better opportunity than I thought. Because now, man, I don't know who they're lined up for Game 3, so I don't want to get ahead of myself. But man. But you know what, dude? I'll be eating my words if fucking Judge and Soto go back to back. You know, that's all it would take. I'm like, the Bears are back, dude. They're out of hibernation.
Right.
They're hungry, dude. They're hungry for heaters.
I would tell you right now it's undecided for the Royals. Clark Schmidt will be pitching for the Yankees. Clark Schmidt, who had a good year, 5-5 with a 2.85 ERA, had a good year. So, but like. The way I'm viewing it is I just think that the way that these two games have played out so far, the Yankees don't look like they are like clearly above the Royals, where I think that you had to win the first two games against the Royals to really convince me that they were going to win the series. I think the Royals are going to win a game at home for sure. Like this is going 5 at the very least, which is a nightmare scenario for Yankee fans in this series. So
absolutely,
I don't know. I just don't see the Yankees winning the World Series, especially against the Dodgers or the Padres or the Phillies. I think that I think that the World Series is coming out of the NL, and it's a coin flip for me in my head right now. If I'm leaning a team, I'm leaning Yankees will pull it out, but I don't think they're getting out of the AL. I think Cleveland would beat them right now because I just think that the Yankees. I think that Cleveland would just pitch around Judge and Soto, and then the Yankees have nothing.
Yeah,
you know,
I feel that.
That's
Jesse.
Yeah.
I respect your opinion. You know ball.
Yeah,
but I got to tell you, it's gonna be fucking Royals and 4, dude.
I love it.
I'm telling you.
And I wouldn't be surprised, dude. I think you might be right. I think that, like, it's... I'm going Yankees just because I think they should win, but not because I think they will.
Jesse, can I tell you why the Royals will win consecutive games at home? Check the stats on their fucking splits.
That's right,
dude.
They're cheating at home. That's
they're cheating at home, dude.
Yeah, dude.
We've been fucking saying this all year, dude. And now the fucking hens come home to roost. And we fucking got you, dude. We got you little cheats.
Yep.
But I'm here for the theater, baby. I'm you know I appreciate cinema. That is why I'm a diehard theater champion.
You were a theater student when I first met you.
Yeah,
I believe.
dude, the theater of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, dude.
Let's get into it then. If you want theater, let's go to Tinseltown in Los Angeles, where the Dodgers and Padres had a doozy of a couple of games there.
Wow.
And we knew this was going to happen. We knew that this series was going to be pure pain, whatever team you root for.
Yes.
It's going to be a brutal series for both teams. Dodgers got off to a bad start in Game 1. Yamamoto was awful. Let's just be honest. Yamamoto was terrible.
I texted you. I was there. I hope I'm not jumping ahead in the script too far, but I was there. The little birthday present for the missus. So we were at Game 1, and I text you literally, I think, after the Ariza bat. And I was like, he doesn't have it. He couldn't I don't know. I haven't watched enough of it back, but it looked like not only he couldn't throw the splitter for a strike, but I think that the arm slot that he was throwing it out of was a bit of a tell. I think he walks Tatis, then it's a pass ball, and he had two pass balls for a rise after giving up a hit to him. And then Manny comes up and, I mean, is just taking these cuts. The ball's just going sizzling straight back into the net. And he gets two strikes on him, and I think he tried to get him with the splitter, and he left it up, and he fucking shit on it. And you could feel the stadium, dude, because it was hot, dude. It was electric. Just outside, there was live music out in center field. The flyby was badass. The fireworks, I mean, dude, it was electric. The place was packed. But dude, you felt the when Manny hit that ball, like,
Right.
oh fuck, here we go again. And
Dude.
then they threaten in the top of that inning and didn't get any runs. Obviously,
Right.
that leads to the Shohei homer, which was just insane, dude. I got to tell you, we were sitting next to this young Japanese couple, and dude, this kid, we were trying to talk English with him, but didn't speak a lick of English, and my Japanese ain't too good, if you can believe it.
Yeah.
But dude, when the fucking bat hit the ball, you just knew it was gone. And it wasn't like it was a high one. It was a line drive kind of screamer out over the right.
I know.
field
I was
wall.
like, well, Shohei throws the bat like it was 475 feet, and it barely cleared the fucking wall.
Dude, you could hear grown men around you. You could hear their voices crack. Go,
Yeah.
Because they were so excited. I know from experience, dude. But yeah, me and my Japanese buddy were just losing our shit. It was really cool. But game one, dude, it was a rowdy atmosphere. And I don't know if you recall, but there was a little bit of a game delay. I think it was in the fourth inning, but a couple of assholes jumped onto the field, and there was a fight kind of over by the left field foul pole, almost exactly where the Profar incident would happen in game two. But you could kind of feel people are a little extra pepped up here today, and not everybody.
Well, I think,
but you get what I mean.
I think there's a little bit of real animosity here in this series, and I think that we finally have entered Padres Dodgers rivalry stage now, where it was kind of okay, this is a big brother little brother thing for a while. Now it feels like we're in real rivalry territory here. And look, part of that could be because the Dodgers have just an insane amount of injuries this year, where they just don't have the pitching to really overwhelm the Padres here. And that's not me making excuses. That's just me kind of being a realist here. The Dodgers have been hit harder. But that show, you're right. I think that there's just been some real dark energy with the fans here, because Dodgers, our fans are tired of losing, and they don't want to lose to this team again. And because it's a team that really ruffles our feathers, because they are obnoxious. And I say that in a good way. They are a team that's it's really good for baseball. This is really, really good for baseball. But
I am not a Padres hater, flat out.
It's at the expense, but it's at the expense of our emotions. You know what I mean? So it makes Dodger fans it just gets under our skin. It really bothers us, and I think that the same goes for Padre fans. But I think they're almost playing with a little bit more of a cleaner slate than the Dodgers are. They have a little bit less pressure on them than the Dodgers do, So I think that just that adds a little bit more tension for Dodger fans, because the pressure is more on them than it is on the Padres. And so when the Padres come into town, Dodgers keep winning the division, but we know that there's a very good chance we could still lose to this team. And that Shohei home run, I think, was so important, because it just changed my whole outlook on the series. I was in customs at the airport watching the game on my phone, and I saw the Manny home run, and I was oh fuck, it's happening. It's fucking happening. Like, my worst fears are happening. And then I'm getting into the Uber, waiting in the Uber line, and then Shohei hit the homer. And my whole mindset changed. So much so to the point that when we went down 5-3 in the 2 innings later, Yamamoto still pitching terrible. We go down 5-3. I wasn't worried. I thought we were going to come back and win that game. I did. I genuinely thought it. I did not feel that way yesterday. I thought that the Padres were going to win one game, but it was that Shohei homer was so fucking important that I think that I do feel like it gave me like it allowed me to sort of like calm down and breathe and just say, okay, this is just going to be a brutal series.
Yeah.
Win or lose, it's going to be a brutal series for both teams. So,
I literally had that thought in my head before the series started. I'm like, all right, with how the pitching is lining up and just how the Dodgers' offense is looking, there's going to be some really stressful late innings, some late lead changes, but I also think that the teams are going to score early and often. And that's
Jazz
what we've
Chisholm
seen.
just homered. It's 4-2 Royals, by the way.
Let's go. And you said that guy was a bad trade for the Yankees, right?
Yeah, I did.
That take aged like dick, dude.
Let's see. Have the Yankees won the World Series yet?
Well,
Brandon?
I don't
No,
think that the
joking.
Yankees
Yeah.
have actually literally won a World Series since like 2009. So I don't think that you're even like a real fan. You're a casual, literally.
Yeah, dude.
But no, so yeah, dude, game 2, boy, the Padres fucking responded, huh? That
Yeah, well, that's where it got dark.
That
It's where it got dark.
Mookie
Yeah.
home run robbery, just about the fucking coolest home run robbery I've ever seen in my life. I hate that I'm a diehard Dodgers fan. I'm gonna have to watch that forever. But shouts out to Mr. Irrelevant. That was fucking sick. And it just felt like that was the omen. That's how the night was going to go already. It wasn't the fucking Tatis homer.
Yeah.
It just felt like that was like no, there isn't going to be any answer tonight. And to go into even a deeper thing, that leaves Mookie 0 for 22
Right.
dating back to last year in his
Yeah,
playoff
that's-
debuts. And I'll be honest, man, in game 1, he didn't have a hit, but he had a couple of big walks, even with 2 strikes, which I thought was fucking bizarre.
Yeah, they walked it. It was
Twice.
that was really weird.
Fucking
That was
weird.
really weird.
One was with 2
Yeah.
strikes, and I didn't get it, but whatever.
It worked though. It worked. Yeah.
But yeah, I've seen some things. Obviously people ripping on Mook for disappearing, like $365 million just to play until September or whatever. But I've also seen some Dodger fans trying to do a Trey Turner standing ovation type deal if the series returns back to LA for a game 5, which I think is super rad. But hopefully it's not too little too late. But I said on our last recording, I know it was a couple weeks ago, Jess, I don't expect you to remember, but I said that this Dodgers team is going to go as far as Yoshinobu Yamamoto's arm will take them. I might even take that back and say this team is going to go as far as Mookie Betts' bat takes him. Because
I'm leaning that way here, if I'm being
it
honest.
feels like it's got to be a slugfest.
It does, and because I just don't know if the Dodgers have the starting pitching. I think the Dodgers have the bullpen to be able to like keep these games in check. Where, like, let's say Buehler, it's really going to come down to Walker Buehler in the next game. If he can just give us like 5 innings, 3 runs, keep the game close, it's going to come down to, hey, can Mookie or Freddie get some big hits here so that because they're probably going to start pitching around Shohei a little bit. It's probably going to start happening, especially if Shohei keeps hitting big homers. Mookie has to do something big here, man. He just has to, because he's been really bad in the postseason. He obviously, him and Freddie were terrible against the Diamondbacks last year. Freddie looked good in game 1. He stole a bag. His ankle looked kind of decent, but they did pull him from the game. And
Game 2. They pulled him from Game 2.
in Game 2.
Yeah. The sixth
So that's a weird omen. But I also think they were kind of just like, let's not push this. Let's make sure he's okay for the rest of this series.
Yeah.
So I think Mookie has to have a big moment in San Diego.
I agree.
And
we talked about this a little bit.
Because we're in danger of losing both games there. Make no mistake about it. It favors the Padres.
Totally.
So we need to have a big moment. Yankees have the tying run coming to the plate with 2 outs in the 9th, by the way.
Beautiful.
So
it does, that Musgrove injury does loom large right now, because it's like, fuck, if you got Michael King and Musgrove, it's like, whoa, you're set up for a coup de grace right now. You can fucking end this in 4. Maybe seeing Dylan Cease a second time is what the Dodgers need. Maybe not. Maybe seeing Darvish a second time is what they need. Maybe not. But this King start is huge, and it really feels like this is, a must-win for the Dodgers. So kudos.
The winner of Game 3 wins the series.
Ooh,
I think.
I like that take.
That's where I would put it.
That's
yeah,
a ballsy
I think so.
take.
And
I think a couple like X factors are going to be, do the Dodgers come out pissed? I cannot let this episode go without just saying like how fucking like disgusted and annoyed I am at the fans that were throwing shit at players and at the field. Like, look, if you are the fan
Royals won.
that
1-1.
What's that?
Royals just won.
Oh, hell, congrats, KC, city champion.
Yeah.
Fuck, what was I just saying?
Sorry, that I apologize.
It's all
I
good.
apologize for that.
It's all good.
Look, I do think that the Musgrove injury looms large. The Dodgers, like you said, the Dodgers need to come out angry, and they need to bring the energy to San Diego that the energy of San Diego brought to LA.
Yeah.
They got to do it.
Yeah, what I was saying was I had to just shit on those fans that were
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah,
throwing shit on the field, and like, if you're the fan that Profar gives the ball to, like, dude, like if you feel like you're getting taunts or whatever, cool, throw the ball away. But like, I don't know if they're saying that guy threw a ball at Profar, but somebody did, and I just think it's dog shit. Like, dude, we're all here to watch a fucking kids game played by like hyper talented athletes. Like, let's enjoy it. But don't make a fucking ass of yourself. And, like, I'm saying this as somebody who's, like, made an ass of myself plenty, but never crossed that line. I've never, like, baseball's fun because you can, like, trash talk players, but keep it baseball friendly, And, like, that's
I know.
fun. But when you're like, fuck you, Tatis, like, that's not fun. That's just fucking drunk ignorance. And, like, dude, there's a lot of kids at these games. Like,
Yeah.
again, it's a kid's game. And, like, dude, I'm a dad. I want to go to the game with my 1-year-old and not, like, have to worry about 2 dickheads brawling behind me or a guy fucking, throwing a can and hitting me. You know what I mean? It's dog shit. And I don't think anybody that does shit like that is a fan of baseball, let alone like a fan of the team that
they're just selfish, dude.
Absolutely.
They're just selfish. And you're also like, all you're doing is making the Padres look good. You're getting people on the Padres side. You're hurting the team when you do that. And, I understand that it comes from passion. You want the Dodgers to win. We all do. But like what you're doing is you're actually like justifying stereotypes against the Dodger fan base that it's full of fucking thugs and like violent people, and you're also, giving the Padres have to come out of that feeling fucking good, like, oh, we're under their skin now, like, oh, now they're worried about us, like. I don't know. It just feels like it made the Padres look good, and I
agree with you.
With class, win with class, and I
agree with you 100%.
You can be a passionate fan without being violent.
1,000%. It's like, dude, remember at the fucking end of the day, none of us are getting paid by these teams. We're not. The jersey we're wearing it's fucking cosplay. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like fucking.
They're taking our money.
It's like Southern Californians who are wearing cowboy hats, dude. It's just cosplay, but we're all there to enjoy it, have a good time. Because this isn't our job. This isn't our day-to-day, and it's not that fucking serious. Yeah, it's frustrating, and it's anxiety, like, riddled shit, but it's nothing to fight over, dude. Like,
yeah.
I don't know. Keep it classy. we'll see in San Diego. But yeah, that said, there's a lot of animosity on the field between the teams. Flaherty and Machado got into it. Looked like Flaherty was ready to invite Manny to the parking lot after the game. And, in all the hoopla and the disgrace that was the shitty Dodger fan that were, making everybody look bad, there was a little bit of drama. Apparently, Manny Machado threw a baseball at the Dodgers dugout in the direct direction, like I did that, the direct direction. Not the
Bravo.
Not the opaque direction. Whoa, dude.
Right.
Subterfuge.
Big words.
Big words. Yeah. Pontification. Fuck. But that Manny threw a baseball at the dugout towards Flaherty and Dave Roberts. And Dave said he looked back at the video and he was a little distressed by it. It's not a good look. So just to your point about getting under people's skin, that like, hey, the Dodgers look like the Padres are under their skin. I think it's going both ways a little bit, and
I agree with that. I think that it's just a very tense series,
totally.
But like, let the players do that. Don't do it yourself as the fan.
This is a hot take for me right now, but it almost feels like in the format that we're in, home field advantage is almost going towards every away team. Just the vitriol that all these home teams, fan bases have for a long postseason run. I think the regular season has become so it doesn't satiate the fan like it used to, right? Like a pennant or a division title, whatever.
Yeah. Baseball's never been that kind of game, though, really.
Yeah.
I don't know. I always feel like baseball is just like it's just such a fucked up game. It's so hard to win. We're like the home field advantage. It helps when you're like up a run in the ninth inning and the whole crowd is like cheering for a strikeout or whatever. It does get under that hurts the batter. But I think that throughout the course of a game, it's just not as indicative as it is in like other, or as important as it is in other sports. I do want to say about the Flaherty Machado thing. It's fucking awesome to see. You want to see that stuff.
Yeah,
it's good.
Hey, because you know what? Fuck
you want to see it.
Man. He's been a dirty player his whole fucking career. He spiked people.
Yeah, exactly.
I remember what he did to Jesus Aguilar 2018 on the Brewers. He fucking stepped on his ankle. Dude, bitch shit. Like, dude,
one of the worst Dodgers ever.
Dude, and you know what? And I'm saying this, and I don't even dislike Machado as a player. But I just think it's funny for a guy like that to be like, don't hit our player, da-da-da. And Flaherty's like, dude, we're down in a playoff game.
Yeah.
I'm not going to fucking
He was not trying to hit him.
Yeah, sorry.
But that's like you want, if I'm a Padre fan, I'm like, I kind of want him to be accusing him of that, because then it's like, you're just giving your team motivation.
Yeah.
That's all you're doing. It's like, hey, so it's good. It's good all around. The hostility is good all around. I'm happy it's happening. I just don't want fans to get involved.
Can I just say one last thing about the Dodgers series in this Game 3 we're about to enter? I gotta say, the stage could not be set more perfectly for a guy like Walker Buehler. Hey, oh, look, it is Walker Buehler. For his start. For a guy whose contract next season is basically going to be determined by this start. A guy with everything to lose. The prize fighter himself, dude. I'm very excited to see Walker Buehler start. And the flip side of that, if the Padres can get on him early, they could be punching their ticket to the fucking championship series, with this game. If we both agree, Game 3 is a must-win.
I do think it is a must-win. And it's like it's 50-50. I'm very excited for the moment for him, and I'm very nervous by the moment. I think it all comes down to Buehler and then Mookie and Freddie.
Yep.
I think those are the storylines that they have to perform. Let's end on one thing here. As we mentioned, you were at the game, and when I was in the Uber on the way back from the airport, I am watching the game. You text me saying how, dude, I'm going crazy with these like Japanese fans next to me.
My people.
About the Shohei homer, and I'm watching it, and then I look on the screen. I'll put this on screen, and I see I see somebody that looks like a guy, Branden Bollinger in like a Japan jersey, going, let's fucking go, yeah. And it was you. And I'm in the Uber with my wife, and I'm like, can you take a look at this? Am I crazy? Is that Branden? I'm talking within a 30-second span of you telling me you were at the game, that you and these Japanese fans are going crazy, and then I'm on my phone watching the game, and then I see you on TV. It was really surreal. It was very weird.
Dude,
it was my first hour back in Los Angeles.
It was funny from my perspective because it was a tense moment. Yamamoto was battling, got out of a jam.
Yeah.
And my phone is just, and I look, and it's your hand holding a phone, and it's like a picture of the screen. It's me.
Yeah. Well, I couldn't screenshot it because it was on DirecTV app.
So good.
So it was like blacked out when I would screenshot it. So I needed Michaela to take a picture of my phone for me, just to send it to you. So
it.
yeah.
Well, shit.
So
I hope that I made you feel like, oh my God, the team's in good hands. There's some real fans out there who give a damn.
Yeah.
It's still real to me, damn it. But Jess, we did it, bud.
We did.
Another
Hour-long
episode
episode. Good episode. We had to make up for lost time, but
we'll be back.
Yeah, this is fun. All 4 series are 1-1 of the division series. This is good stuff. Baseball's in a good spot. So whatever happens, let's do it right now. Dodgers win the series. Padres win the series. Just all right. I agree. Dodgers in 5.
Who do you got?
Otherwise,
Phillies or Mets?
I will be Phillies.
Phillies in
5.
Phillies in 5. I got Mets in 5.
All right. Cleveland Tigers.
I got Tigers in 5.
Cleveland in 4. All right. Yankees Royals.
Royals in 4.
Yankees in 5.
All right. Go, dude.
There we go. That's another episode of Deferred Collusion, Brando.
Don't forget to like us.
I'm happy to.
Don't forget to subscribe to us. Share us with your friends. All that dumb shit. It really helps, and it really does make a difference. Thank you, everybody who's been giving us messages, sending us content they want us to talk about. There's been a lot, so thank you. We're getting it all locked in. My boy's back from old gay Paris, so and I say that in like it's happy. It's wonderful. Jesse, I love you. I can't wait to do this again. We're gonna do our best to get episodes out a little bit quicker, maybe a little bit more.
Yeah, well, it's playoffs. We'll be talking. We'll be talking. Yeah,
playoffs.
Yeah.
Talking about playoffs. Playoffs.
And just like Yoshinobu Yamamoto, I will be, just like he was tipping his pitches, I will be tipping my cap to you, good sir. You have a good night.
As to you, I bid you adieu.
Arrivederci.
Oh,
au revoir.
languages.
Au revoir.